tonight. It's Bidenomics versus Trumponomics. Jared Bernstein served as chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors under President Biden, and Steve Moore is a former economic advisor to President Trump. He is also co-author of Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Gentlemen, great to have both of you here. Jared, I'd like to start with you. J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs are both now increasing the chances of a recession this year. It's now up to 45% chance, according to Goldman Sachs. What do you make of those predictions?
I sure hope they're wrong, but they've been moving in that direction for a while. You know, a lot of people think that when the stock market goes down, it's just investors who lose some money. And sure, they lose a lot of money, in fact, trillions. But the stock market also reflects how investors feel about going forward in this economy. And if investors are sitting on their hands because of the uncertainty that this tariff agenda has generated, they're not going to invest in that new warehouse or that new factory. And that's one of the reasons why these recessionary forecasts are climbing. Consumers are worried about higher prices. Investors are worried about tariffs. Businesses are worried about something you just teed us up on when you talked about how their inputs are getting more expensive because they import a lot of what they use to build here. So all of that is pushing to slower growth and higher inflation.
Yeah, I think everybody agrees on the inflation part. The only part where people are differing slightly is if we're in a recession already or if a recession is on the horizon.
I don't think we are, by the way. I don't think we're there yet.
I was kind of surprised by that. All right, Steve, BlackRock's CEO, as we just said today that most CEOs think we're already in a recession. Trump posted today in response to that comment, quote, "These critics are weak and stupid and panicking," which is his new word for panicking Republicans, or the party he calls of, quote, weak and stupid people. Got to get your reaction to that statement.
Well, I guess I kind of agree with Jared. Look, if nobody likes a falling stock market, and I'm a little concerned that Republicans are saying, well, stock market is just for rich people. No, it's not.
Right.
It's we have 180 million Americans are in the stock market, about 60% of households. And, and I agree with Jared that the stock market is not a great, but a pretty good forward-looking indicator about where the economy is headed. Elizabeth, this morning, the markets were down by well over 1,000 points. And so they made a big comeback today, although it's, the Dow didn't make it all the way back up into green territory at the end of the day. So there was a bit of relief. I think the way out of this, because, we all want to see, freer and fairer trade, is for these countries, whether it's Germany, France, Italy, Spain, the UK, have to make that phone call. They got to get on that phone and call Donald Trump and say, let's make a deal. It appears right now that that's what many of these countries are doing. I think that'll have a calming impact on the market. And I think one other quick thing, Elizabeth, I'm not a big tariff guy myself, but it is true. I mean, Trump is fundamentally right that these other countries do charge a lot higher tariffs on our goods than we do on theirs. And Trump is saying you got to give us a level playing field here. And I think most Americans agree with him on that.
Yeah, but the messaging seems mixed. On the one hand, we're hearing level the playing field, make it fair. They've been cheating us for years, which I think most people can agree is true. Right. But on the other hand, we're seeing bring American factories and businesses back here. And Jared, you don't just snap your fingers and bring manufacturing and factories back to the United States. Many of these, I heard a great comment from Dave Chappelle, of all people, who said, I want to wear Nike, I don't want to make Nike.
Yeah, I think you raise an important point. The administration is telling us pay now and gain later. Now, to their credit, they're admitting that this is hurting a lot of people and businesses. But what they're telling us is that on the other side of this is significant reindustrialization, bringing jobs back. I don't think that's what's going to happen. And I especially would be concerned, I like the quote you just said from Chappelle, that some of these jobs that they're talking about, we don't necessarily want them.
Right.
There's no reason why we want to make textiles here. That is really low-wage manufacturing. Or put together electronic goods as China does. Let them do that. Now, look, we have to go after unfair traders, as both of you have said. China's exhibit number one in that regard. But if you look at a country like Germany that has a large trade surplus, they also have manufacturing jobs as a share of their economy that have been sliding down for over a decade. So I think this reindustrialization This reindustrialization myth is just that, and I'm afraid that it's pain now, more pain later.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.